Okay, welcome fourth graders and the rest of the world who are going to maybe watch this video later. We are going to be talking about food webs today, amongst other things, but food webs is the title of this lesson. We are on chapter 1, lesson 3. This is all about food webs. So let's go ahead and get right into it. What are food webs? Food webs, as a kid kind of described it in class, it's like a big brawl. Everybody is competing and fighting for the same resources, okay? So a good picture that you should probably look at if you have your science textbook is on page 52 and 53. Basically, it shows a whole bunch of animals all competing for the same food source, okay? So, for example, in this one, you have the otter and the cabezon are both competing for the crab, okay? Because the otter and the cabezon, they both get their energy. Remember, we talked about how energy is food. They both get their energy from the crab. So they're both competing for this particular food source. Now the crab is also competing against other organisms in this food web. And it becomes this whole kind of connected piece. One of the things that we talked about in class was how the food web is all connected. For example, let's say we have some bears. Okay? And the bears get their energy from these fishes. And the fishes get their energy from these small little organisms at the bottom of a lake or ocean called plankton. Okay? Now what happens if I come along and I shoot and kill a whole bunch of these bears? Okay, so I take away a whole bunch of bears from this population. What's going to happen now is that there are not enough bears to eat the fish. And so the fish population starts to grow. So now there's a whole bunch of fishes. Well, now all of these fishes are competing for the same food source, namely the plankton. What happens now? All the plankton start to get killed off, and now there is not very much plankton. The problem now is if there's not enough plankton, the fish are going to start dying. Okay? If the fish start dying, then the bears aren't going to have anything to eat. If the bears don't have anything, the bears are going to start to die off. And after a while, this whole food chain or this food web, everybody kind of needs one another, dies off. So you can see how this food web, everything connected, even though they're all competing for different things, they are connected in this way. They need each other in some way. Okay, so that is a food web. We talked about competing, how two animals or two organisms are both trying to get their energy from the same food source. We talked about population. Population is all of the organisms that make up a food web. Another thing that we talked about in class was an energy pyramid. There are two kinds of organisms in this energy pyramid. There are producers and there are consumers. Okay? I guess is a plant an organism? No, it's not. But there are two kinds of living things in this energy pyramid. There are plants Okay? And then there are other living organisms, animals such as mice, snakes, and birds. The reason that the plants are at the very bottom of this energy pyramid is because they start this whole thing off. The reason they're at the bottom is because they make food inside of themselves. That's why they start the whole thing off. They don't need to go and get their food. They don't consume other organisms. They are self-sufficient. They can get food on their own in themselves. Yes, they need the sun, but for the most part, they are dependent upon themselves and they are able to make their own food. So they kind of start the whole thing off because they don't need other things. Okay? So they're the producers because they produce the food in themselves. Now, the mice, the snakes, and the hawk here, or the eagle, they are consumers because they have to go and get their food and consume it. So the mice eats the grass, the snake eats the mouse, and then the eagle or the hawk eats the snake. So the producer's at the bottom, and then each level below is where they get their energy from. Okay, so you can the grass gives the mouse its energy, the mouse gives the snake its energy, and the snake gives the eagle or the hawk its energy. So this is a energy pyramid once again. The producers are at the bottom, and the upper levels are the consumers. Continually looking through food web, population, energy pyramid. There's definitely some better pictures in your textbook than these notes here, but that is pretty much it. Once again, this is Food Webs. Hopefully it is a good review for your science test, and if you have any questions, you can contact me on Edmodo or Facebook, but I look forward to seeing you guys in the class.